You're listening to Rock the System on Our City Radio. Here's your host, Shelly Dudley.
Good evening and welcome to Rock the System. I'm your host, Shelly Dudley. My co-host tonight is Justin Masters, and we are here tonight with an awesome guest, a group called Barleycove. And the lead singer for Barleycove is Laura Clinton. Welcome to Rock the System, Laura. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up, and how did you get into music?
I was born in North Carolina and then moved to South Carolina pretty young, and so definitely Carolina girl, and grew up. My parents are both musical and always had music in the car. That was a big deal for me. I remember singing along to the Eagles, Billy Joel, very young. In fact, picking out the cassette tape that I wanted to listen to was a big deal and an honor to pick what we got to listen to on car trips or travel. So it's just been an integral part of my life from, probably 2 or 3 years old.
So how did you get from listening to music to actually performing music?
I started piano at 7, and then typical Southern girl, started singing in church, and I'd perform for family, friends around the house, and then I went to college on a small voice scholarship, and I kind of was at the crossroads. Do I pursue music or go into education? And I kind of went more with teaching for that period of time, and my music just kind of went away for quite a while. So, but it still was always in me. But I guess fear kind of takes over, and you're afraid, oh, what if someone doesn't like what I make or my music, or they don't think I sing well enough? And kind of self-doubt took over. So I kind of kept that part hidden for a long time.
And what is it that brought it back out again?
It's kind of a funny story. When I was in France, just a fun night, we did some karaoke. I'm like, okay, I'll sing. And they're like, why aren't you singing? And they've kind of been supporting me the whole time. And so I started writing music again. And I have a really good friend. She's like my right arm woman, and I'll send her a song. She's like, that's good. Keep working on it. So I kept working on it and started performing, and I met a guitarist, and then we met our drummer, and we've just kind of grown as a band. So it just kind of evolved.
Wow, that's great. Now, you are also a proponent of moving forward in a positive direction and pursuing your dreams, and you've been teaching your students that. Is that correct? That
is correct, and that's a big motivator, too. I realized, wow, I'm a hypocrite. I still have dreams that I haven't pursued, and I'm telling my students to go for it. So it was time to finally pursue this side. There's a quote, I think, by Wayne Dyer. He says, don't die with your music in you. And that kind of came to the surface. And I think about so many people in our lives we meet that they still have something in them that they may not be expressing because of fear or what other people think. So we might have only this life, so you might as well go for it.
You're right, we do.
I'm listening there, and I'm thinking this seems to be a theme amongst independent artists or new people just starting out on a path like that. You know, just keep pushing forward, and don't let other people tell you what you know you can do well.
Yes, and I think you're on to something there, because with social media and the decline of a label, and even former label artists kind of taking it, I think even you see it, even big artists are now going independent. It's just so freeing that, like, a label would probably tell me you need to lose 20 pounds or you're too old or this or that, but now it doesn't matter. Yeah, I still feel like what I do is valid. I can pursue it without a label telling me what to do. And I think so many people feel that freedom that may not have existed 5-10 years ago.
The direction that technology has gone has certainly made it much more, well, I don't know if prevalent is the right word. It made it easier, and I don't know if easier is the right word either. It's just opened up doors, I would say. Technology has opened up doors for the indie artists to be able to get their music out there in ways that weren't available before.
Yes. And I think another notion is like Amanda Palmer with Dresden Dolls, she kind of has a donation. She doesn't charge for her music. You donate. So I think that is another way of thinking that artists have to think about. It's not, don't be ashamed to ask, but maybe let your fans decide what they're willing to pay. It's another kind of interesting way the music business is kind of going too.
I agree. And then I also know some artists who just totally give away their music, the MP3s, to get to promote their concerts, and where they really make their money, and they are making some serious money, but it's through touring and ticket sales. And so they don't think anything of giving away their MP3s, but it is designed for a purpose to get people to come to their concerts and see their live concerts and sell their tickets. So there are a lot of new avenues available for promoting your music and gaining your fans and making money that haven't been available before, I think.
So true. So true.
I have a thought here. I mean, with everything you two have been talking about, do you find also, and to what degree perhaps, that the competition because of this social media thing has also increased, in that you really have to find that spot for yourself within all of that to get noticed, or is it a lot easier to be noticed because of that?
I think you're right. I think it leads, there's definitely more competition. Even locally, the gigs are harder to come by. You know, you kind of have to be ready last minute. If you get a phone call, hey, do you want to play? You take it. So you're right. I think there's more competition. Some people argue that the quality is not as strong with the decline of a label, but I think you just kind of have to connect with certain artists, and it's still overall, I think, a benefit for music to have this new kind of advancement in technology to be able to find the artists you connect with. But you're right, there's going to be more competition out there.
So would you say it's all about marketing then?
Probably, and I've seen a lot, I've read a lot about just making real fans, making real connections, not just surface, trying to really connect with people more on a deeper level so that you have a fan that's going to stick with you 5-10 years, not just a flash in the pan kind of thing. So I think that if you are sincere, I think you'll have more, you'll have longevity. I think sincerity is key.
You know, that's an interesting point that you make, because I recently did an interview with Graham Russell of Air Supply, and that is one of the things that really, really came through in that interview, is that he is such a genuine person with a warm heart who really puts his fans first and loves connecting with them. He thinks nothing of spending 2 hours after a concert's over with. It's late at night. He's tired. He's just given his all. Mm-hmm. But instead of going home, he'll spend another 2 hours signing autographs, talking with his fans, and that type of thing at the concert. And it's like, wow, you know, no wonder these guys have been going strong for 40 years and have such a huge and loyal fan base. You know, they've sold hundreds of millions of albums, and it's like, no wonder, you know, they're just great human beings.
You're so right. And I think some people lose that, or they never really develop that, and it might hurt them in the future, you know. And again, yeah, I think that's an amazing accomplishment, you know, and statement about him as an artist.
It really is. It really is, because you can't point to too many bands that have been together for 40 years.
Yeah.
Laura, your influences, your musical influences, you say, are Damien Rice, The Civil Wars, Annie DeFranco, and Patty Griffin. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. Ireland, again, our name Barleycove is just kind of an ode to Ireland. I have been influenced by so many artists from there, and but some of the females who really stuck out for me, just Patty Griffin. She, to me, is amazing. Like, I don't know why the whole world isn't shouting her name. She's kind of been under the radar, but she, like everybody in the music business, is getting to know who she is, and she's written for Dixie Chicks and had hits for Kelly Clarkson. And then you have Ani DeFranco, another, just started her own record company, has just, she's done the indie thing and better than anybody I can think of. So when I have self-doubt, I'm like, okay, these are women who've done it. They've spoken their minds. They've not been afraid. So I really look up to them. And the Civil Wars are just so brutally beautiful, honest. Their work is amazing. I would love to kind of find someone to develop like a partnership and have that male-female duo thing too in the future. So I kind of keep them as the goal as well. And Damien Rice is from Ireland, and I think his album O it's definitely my top 5 albums of all time. So again, it's in all these artists. I think their sincerity is undoubtable and a part of who they are. So I think that's the appeal for me.
And so you really like that Irish influence.
Yes.
And which of your songs would you say it comes through in the strongest?
I'm not sure. I think sometimes Release, probably the album title, it's kind of more of a ballad type song that might have that essence to me. And a lot of the emotions just kind of an ethereal feel more. I associate that, and the Barleycove is a coastline. So again, I think of very breathy, airy, and Release kind of has that in the song.
Well, it sounds like a beautiful song. So if our listeners wanted to go hear that, where would they connect with you to be able to get it?
It'll through iTunes, CD Baby, our website, barleycoveband.com. So yeah, it'll all be available for them.
Excellent. Our listeners can hear that firsthand by purchasing it on iTunes or CD Baby.
Yes, and our first song, Transit Love, will be available too then. So.
Yes, and in fact, tell us a little bit about Transit Love, and let's play that for our listeners, but tell us a little bit about it first.
Okay, it's all the songs are written in a narrative format. I think it's the easiest for people to relate to, and it's kind of about a person who doesn't want to have a true relationship with a human. Maybe they're in the cyber world, and I think in today's society we've all met that person. They really don't want a true relationship. They enjoy the camaraderie through social media or through email, never really making that real connection. And it's just kind of about the frustration that evolves from that.
Wow,
so I thought it was,
that's an interesting story. How did you come upon this idea for this song?
Well, it's happened to personally, and then I've had friends. A lot of it is real life observations. I've read stories. I've had friends. You can tell the guys like, I don't want to meet, or maybe next time, and it never comes through that they physically meet. It's always kind of a mystery. So, and I think so many of us in this world with different dating sites or just meeting through friends, through Facebook, we have all these relationships, but are they really real, you know?
Well, very interesting. Well, let's go ahead and listen to Transit Love.
Linguistic love, I'm building a fortitude with words. A mental moat protects the innermost part of you. Majestic momentals, viral portals of the mind. In one click you dissipate and are no longer in view. It's a language of love and some binomial, stratified and coerced, objectified and rehearsed. So take
Stay with us for more of Rock the System on Our City Radio.
Does your company need to advertise on the internet where you're confused by all the options? Well, we have a solution. OurCityAds.com makes placing your message in front of your target audience simple. Easy to access reports let you know exactly how your ads are performing. Let OurCityAds.com put your ad in front of your target audience and get the results you deserve. Visit OurCityAds.com and start your new advertising campaign today.
You're listening to OurCityRadio.com, the rock channel.
The entire world watched. They watched each step down the rungs of that small ladder, one after another, and waited with great anticipation for that last step.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
At that moment, humanity saw the impossible become the possible, and today the sky is not the limit. Achievement. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
This is Christopher Covey, the voice of rock in Rockford, Illinois, and you're listening to Our City Radio.
Barleycove, the name of a townland in the beach in the County Cork on the south coast of Ireland.
Yes, and I just loved it. It just fit. I don't know. And my great grandfather wrote a book about Ireland called Shamrock Land. So it was just kind of and I'm Scotch Irish heritage, so it just fit. And I didn't want to be Laura Clinton. The Laura Clinton band just didn't ring a bell. So
well Barleycove's a great name.
Hey, and I'm Irish, English, French. So imagine what my fits are like. She knows. She knows.
You're funny, Justin. Yeah.
Well, I love your song Ms. Naivete. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's about just those of us that keep repeating mistakes and falling for maybe the same type of entrapment issues, falling for the same lines or promises that never follow through. And it's a take on just how when we're in our youth, you have to learn from these eras. And I think we all keep making the same mistakes until we learn. So it's just kind of a lesson, learn from your mistakes. Don't keep repeating them.
It's a good lesson.
Otherwise, with supremacy ringing in your eyes.
Now, a lot of your songs are soft ballads, and I would say definitely with that Celtic influence. But some of your songs are, especially on your new album, are more driving rock.
Yes.
Would you say that's... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was a former metalhead. I love Metallica and Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith. So I think it just came out, and Heart was a big influence when I was young. So I think all that kind of built up, and it just kind of happened. Like, I don't know what'll happen next. Like, we're already making new music, which is kind of going back more acoustic, almost Americana. So you kind of just don't know where music's going to evolve, into.
That's true.
So, yeah, so I think my early rock influences kind of came out heavily on this album.
I love it, to be honest with you. And would
Yes.
you say that your connection with Jesse has had something to do with this?
Yes, and that's what we connected so well, because he was also like a metalhead and loved Guns N' Roses. So we would come up, like, I'd play a line on the piano and he'd turn it into a guitar riff and make it really rock. So it's kind of cool how we've evolved together. And he's really good at that, playing melody. He can easily come up with some kind of guitar, solo that'll just, mirror it very well. So, yeah, it's been a great addition to have him.
Well, he plays a great guitar. So Jesse Thomas is your guitarist, and then who is your drummer?
Tim Trammell. He stayed. I remember it was a rainy winter night, just one of those typical, not many people there, but he was with his wife. They sat through our entire 3-hour set, and I was like, wow, they're really liking us. And then he came up after, and it's kind of like you say, making those connections. We sat and talked, and he's like, you guys, would you want a drummer? And we're like, yeah, that would be awesome. And so we kind of got to know him, and it just worked. We started rehearsing, and we've been together a year, so it's flowed. And the funny thing is that we're all older, and we never really pursued music as a career in our younger days. We all have day jobs, but we all still have had it in us to kind of create music. So it's just neat how we all found each other.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a couple of questions. Let's see. I think I'm going to
Sure.
change the subject from the songs to where music was made. I don't know if you've made it there more than once, but I want to know about an experience at Hello Telescope that was either funny or very insightful for what you were attempting to do.
Hello Telescope was very cool. It was my demo, so I was really nervous. And I remember it was just a surreal experience to be in the studio for the first time, and he's in the booth over here watching me through a glass window. So it was kind of nerve-wracking. But then I remember seeing do you remember the band Jellyfish?
I do, yes.
Okay, there was a jellyfish poster, and I don't know why, but that was just an awesome sign. I was like, oh my gosh, you have a jellyfish poster. I love them. And so it just kind of broke the ice, and we had a great experience there. And I was honored to work there because Jay Clifford also owns that studio. He was with Jump Little Children back in the day. They were a really good band that kind of never made it huge, but in the Southeast they had a huge following, and he's just a genius. So it was an honor to be down there and work, and it turned out to be a really nice place to do a demo CD and get really good results. And then it led us to Yellow Mama we did locally. It's closer to where I am, and I met a young producer, Mike Dove, and he did our album for us. And we did, we took our time because it was a place where we could come after work and, do what we needed to do. And this is very convenient. And, again, supporting local, too, was nice.
I was just curious about that, the Hello Telescope, because I had kind of, when I saw that in some of the bio info, I wanted to look, okay, they went there. I'm curious about the studio and the recordings, because, sound is kind of what I do, whether I make up the voices as I go along.
Josh Keller is a genius. You might want to check out some of his work.
It looked like a neat place. I mean, it looked like just a nondescript home in the middle of a neighborhood kind of thing.
Yeah, it was. It's
It
an old
really did.
Charleston house. Amazing with the typical front porches on both levels. It was a cool building.
Okay. Now I've had
Yes.
that fun. Now I've had that fun.
Your album is due to be released on the 1st of March. What was that recording process like?
I'm going to compare it to childbirth because I have had a child. It took almost 9 months, and it's been a labor of love. So I really, truly, as a mother, can say that. It kind of, it just kind of developed too, and it's interesting how we work together. Like we would go through it and do all the drums, but we still would try to all play together live to get that feeling. But we might record different tracks at different times. And I had to do the piano at the home studio because I wanted to use a real piano and not a keyboard. That was important to me. I just love the sound of a real piano.
It does make a difference, doesn't it?
It does. It's just that you can, on some of the songs, it's just enough undercurrent to hear that there's low tones that it's just that deep, beautiful sound that you can't replicate on your keyboard.
I agree.
So it was, again, just finding the right balance of sound, too, I think. And when you have 3 people that work full-time, it's going to take longer. It's a luxury to be able to say, oh, we're going to take the next 9 months off to record. No, we worked full-time and, a lot of weekends and late nights, but it's been worth it.
So once your album is released, are you planning on doing a tour to promote it?
We probably will more this summer. In the area, we've gotten some gigs. Like we're going to be the showcase artist at one of our local singer-songwriter nights, which is a big honor, and things like that. And we play for our local cultural center. We're going to do an art walk show. So it's really good. We're starting to pick up. We kind of hope to go to Nashville this summer. See what happens there. So, yeah, I think it's going to open up the doors to playing more venues.
That's excellent.
But it's just, it's all about balance.
Of course. So now if our listeners wanted to learn more about your upcoming concerts or upcoming gigs, where would they go to do that?
Just go to our website, barleycoveband.com, and we try to post them as soon as we book them. So that's the best place to keep informed.
So barleycoveband.com.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, I have a question about, I have a question about a couple of your songs, but I think I'll start with this one just because there was something to it when I listened to it, called Under the Radar.
Oh, I love that one.
Now, as I was listening to the piano undertone and the notes of the song, I also hear the fingers of the strings on the guitar as they moved from note to note and chord to chord. Always loved that sound.
Yes, that's
and
awesome.
If I were to ask you this, message of hope in that?
Yes, and I think it's about the beauty of a relationship before it's public. I think that's kind of when it's most sincere. And I think it's why celebrities kind of keep things quiet before it gets out, and then you have all these expectations from other people kind of affecting those people in the relationship before you announce it on Facebook and change your status, or it's just a beautiful moment right before when it's just, can we just be together? It's kind of that feeling.
Gotcha. And that's, when I listened to it, it just had a musical gentleness to it that, it just was amazing as well. And,
thanks.
it was kind of like Fade Away. That kind of had the same kind of musical gentleness. So.
You are the night in the dark, lighting the world with your
The other question is about the song Now. All right, you ready? What is the story of Now? Behind it, that is.
The album, as you may know, it's kind of a concept album about like struggles through life, and then you have to get to a point where, wow, how am I going to survive this? How do I, survive all this? And it's truly about that moment, the present moment, the now, where you just don't live in the past, and you're not just sitting there waiting on the future, because none of us know what's going to happen, and we waste so much time by not living in the now, the present moment. So it's kind of just a little message of living mindfully, I guess, is the big key to that song.
Remembering the
and
roses.
that's, what I think music's about. Like, just, I've had so many albums that help me get out of rough times, and I hope that someone can listen to this and there's a message of hope overall.
Absolutely.
About living in the now and not worrying about the future or the past.
Yes.
It's a good message. And do you share this message with your students as well?
Yes, I try. And I try to, some things I wish people had told me. I don't remember being told that really very young. I was always kind of anxious about the future, and just always, I think it's good to be hopeful and have goals, but, it can also lead to disappointment when it doesn't turn out like you expect. So we have to teach, I think, kids how to handle that when life doesn't go like you plan. How can we make this a positive? So, yes, I try to teach them to look at different angles of things and kind of find the silver lining in what may seem negative.
And this is true because we don't always see the bigger picture at the moment that we're going through what to us might be a disappointment. But, sometimes, for example, getting in a car accident and having a debilitating accident might wind up, 10 years down the road, you say, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, but it wound up being the best thing that could ever happen to me.
But would you have what you have now? It's always that question. What would you have changed, that may not be positive and change the outcome?
Well, exactly. Do you share that message with your students?
Yes. And I also have the kids, they do a lot of journaling.
Hey, baby, want to catch a concert this weekend?
Sure, honey. I'll jump online and get some tickets. Where should I look?
Go to ourcitytickets.com. They have a great selection and good prices, too.
Aren't they the company that give you a free restaurant.com gift card with every purchase?
Sure is. Our City Tickets really knows how to take care of their customers.
Sweet. Dinner and a show this weekend. Now we have to decide where to eat. Thanks, Our City Tickets.
To purchase tickets to an event in your city, visit ourcitytickets.com because you deserve more.
You're listening to ourcityradio.com, the rock channel.
OurCityRadio.com. If you're a local business owner, why not advertise on our station? We offer air ads on 30-second and 1-minute length, plus web page ads customized to your specific needs that will impact your local business. While you're on our station page, scroll up to the tab Local Advertising and get started now. OurCityRadio.com. Advertise today.
Hi, this is Roland Bolin, and you're listening to Our City Radio.
All right, so I will ask you, Laura, if you could share one piece of advice with new indie artists that are just starting out, what piece of advice would that be?
Don't make excuses. Don't compare yourself to anyone else or say, well, I'm not this or that or so-and-so is better. Just create your art and see where it leads you.
And would you say that that comes from having spent some time sidelining your music over the years and now coming back to it and really appreciating where you're at with it now?
Yes, it's true. And I do have regret and I wish I'd done it younger, but then, again, it's just a trap. So I try to not even worry about that anymore and just push forward. And I think of all the young people who could just, how much they could do in the time they have starting in their early 20s. They could really push it forward. So just go for it. And, technology's opened up so many doors. There are a lot of helpful people, too, out there to help guide them as well through the industry.
Well, what is in the future for Barleycove?
Again, we're going to push forward. I would like to get placement in movies, possibly. TV would be good. That would be an enjoyable goal. I'd like to be a songwriter as well. I would be okay with someone else, using one of my songs. It might not be a song I've released, but I would enjoy being a songwriter as well in the future. I have to balance home and work, and I'd like to do music more. So I hope it'll lead to doors where I can pursue music in the future and continue with it as a career.
Well, we can certainly wish you the very best of luck. And here at Our City Radio, we're going to do our part to help get your music out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for all you do for independent music and rock music, especially. Keep rock alive.
Well, we're here to rock the system, baby.
That's what it's about.
Laura, what is your song Not For Granted about?
It is exactly that, about finding that person in your life and just remembering to honor them and cherish them for what they are, who they are. It could be, this is definitely stated in a relationship romantically, but it's just a message to all of us to not take those people in our lives for granted. It's so easy to do, but we don't know how long each of us have here every day. So it's a reminder just to love.
What a great message. Yeah, to take a look at those relationships that we have in our life that are important to us and to not take those relationships for granted.
Yes.
What a great message.
Everyone should have a hobby, and I think hugs should be one of those hobbies.
Oh, I'm a big hugger.
See there?
Hugging's good. All right, virtual hug right now, everybody.
All right, virtual hug. Aww.
Oh.
That was nice. I felt that one, Laura.
Oh, good.
I got a quick question. How is it you're finding the music scene and, and being able to, run into other bands as you go along through through this wonderful trail you've chosen for yourself. And
it's really...
What's it like for you out there?
It's pretty... in my area, we have so many talented musicians, Spartanburg, Greenville area, Greer. It's really kind of a family, and you just really have to develop the relationships, support each other. It's been a discovery too as well, but it's again, it goes back to being sincere and taking the time to make connections, and for people, even other artists, need to see that you're real, that you're not just using them for a connection or this or that you are truly, you love the music. I think that needs to come through to other artists as well, that you value the art of making and creating, that you're not just in it for publicity or quick road to fame, because it's certainly not like that for most of us. It's just you do it for the love of it. So I think it's been nice to connect with other artists in the area who have that same love that we do, and we're doing it out of sincerity and a true motivation to create. So
well, you
I
did
kind of rambled on that one.
you did say something earlier that kind of caught my attention. I want to kind of revisit it real quick, where you said you would like to compose more as far as like for television. Did I hear you say that?
I would, yes, there's a lot of opportunity to submit to movies and TV. That would be an exciting opportunity, I think, to having music placed. And you kind of could build fans that way too.
Well, yeah, a lot of shows have done that too.
I love Iron and Wine, and when I watched Twilight the other night and heard Flightless Bird. I mean, that just evokes such emotion, and what a beautiful song to be in a movie. I mean, to me, that would be an honor, a timeless honor to be in a movie.
Absolutely.
And have, it's a totally new audience that may never discover you as well.
Yeah, and
a
lot of people have done that.
I tend to agree with you, because when you create a piece of music that has that emotion, as soon as you underlie that to a set of graphics or a visual image, that emotion just becomes very, very strong and really comes through. So I think you're right about building a new audience that way. That's an amazing goal. That's great.
And and I have a young child, and I can't just pack up for months at a time and go on tour. I have to kind of be smart about, well, how are you going to make it in the music business? And that would be one way to have some success without having to totally disrupt the live,
That's great thinking.
Yeah, I was just curious too. You keep talking about your child and your home and all of that. You can't just pack up and go. Here's the next question. You've got a studio in your house somewhere, don't you? A place you can escape to.
I kind of do. Well, my bedroom is my studio, but you're right. I'm sitting right now with all my music. And again, with technology, it kind of is easy to do a lot through GarageBand. It's not perfect, but it's enough to get it where you kind of know what you want to do when you go to the real studio. And a lot of people are doing YouTube channel now. They're doing concerts, house concerts. So there's a lot of change going on. That's kind of game changer. So you can't, like you say, you can do a lot from your home studio, your home base.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, heck, you're talking about having home shows. Well, the Beatles did it on top of, Abbey Road Studios.
Yeah.
So why not? What the hey?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All new venues and new technology. You got to take advantage.
Yes. Yes. There's so much out there. More opportunity, I think, than ever.
So a recurring theme throughout our interview has been your fans and connecting with your fans. What are your fans like?
They are usually music lovers and appreciative of the singer-songwriter style and relate to just the emotions within the music. And we also play a lot of gigs where we do a lot of covers. And we are mindful of our audience that we might have a lot of different age populations. So we try to cover 60s, 70s, 80s, even, we do some Pink or Ellie Goulding. We try to mix in some modern, too, for the younger kids, Bon Iver. We do it all. So I think that helps people connect with us as well. We do an Eagles song, and we've got people singing along automatically. So it's just kind of cool to connect that way with an audience.
And then do you sprinkle some of your own individual music?
Yeah, I kind of have a method. I do one, maybe original, 2 covers, or 2 originals, 2 covers. Yeah, we do, mix it in.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
And so who is your greatest fan at this point in time?
I'd have to, well, I'm actually kind of won over my parents, which is kind of cool.
That's very cool.
A full circle moment to have, my dad finally said, I'm really proud of you for going through with it. So it's kind of cool that, my mom and dad validated and said, yeah, we approve. So that teenager in me's like, yes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
but our greatest fan, we had a big fan in New York, Dr. Mark Nason. He's a professor that we kind of met through I'm also a teacher, and we met through some of our education activities, and he's been a huge supporter of us, and so he's been a big fan.
Well, let's give Dr. Nason a big shout out then.
Woohoo!
Well, he knows good music when he hears it.
Yes, and my friend Lauren Nichols, she's the one that I sent. Under the Bear was kind of the first song of the album that I wrote, and I sent it to her on my iPhone and recorded on my iPhone. She's like, I love it. So I got to give a shout out to her too.
Absolutely. Now, is she the one that was with you on the fateful karaoke night when you kickstarted your career?
Yes, she was. Yes. Yeah, true.
Now, you mentioned wanting one day to become a duet yourself, a female-male voice playing off each other in your band.
Yes.
If you could have your dream male singer join your band, who would that be?
I know I love Glenn Hansard of 12 Season, but I also, like, Jay Clifford would be amazing, and he's the guy that was the lead singer of Jump Little Children. And it could even be someone I haven't met yet, but those two would be optimal. Two beautiful voices, definitely. That would be an honor to sing with.
And would complement yours very nicely, I think.
Thanks. So I hope it'll happen. That's what I love about music. Like, I want it to evolve. I really don't want to ever put out the same thing, just always changing, and just keep it interesting for the listener.
Well, it sounds like you have quite a lot of goals for the future, and that you're taking strides and steps in every area that you can to make those goals and dreams come true. I love seeing this.
Thanks. It's just a whole family, and I've had a lot of support from a lot of people. And you can't give up, because it's not a quick process at all. It's easy to get your doubts to take over, and you just keep pushing forward.
So you push those doubts aside, and you just remind yourself that you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, what do you want to work for night and day? Are you going to stay in an unhappy job, or are you going to go for what you truly love and desire that you don't mind? Like, music doesn't seem like work to me at all. And I think that's a gauge for us all when you know it's right, when it doesn't feel like work, when you can spend 12 hours on it and it doesn't matter. And I think we just lose that. We get so caught up in monetary things and what we value.
I tend to agree that when you're working from a place of passion, when you're really pursuing your passion, your work becomes your play and your play becomes your work.
True.
True,
and we're not taught that as kids either.
Maybe that's why I'm different, because I've always liked that idea as well. And I've always kind of been that way, where if I'm not having fun at what I'm doing, why in the world am I doing it? Because I'm not going to do it very well if I'm not having fun at it, right? Right.
You're just very evolved, Justin.
That's what it is.
Well, at least
have a higher consciousness.
At least it wasn't randomness, right?
Oh, it's awesome. I'm glad you thought that way. I think that is truly a sign of intelligence, that you already mastered that concept.
Well, and I love the Three Stooges, so that always helped.
They live in the moment.
That's absolutely.
They're Zen masters.
Indeed. Well, it's funny because I was giving a speech to a group of high school students the other day just on this exact subject, how they are just right at the jumping off point of their lives, and the world is their oyster. They're about to spread their wings, and they can totally fly. They can choose any direction they want to go. And one of the mistakes that I made when I was their age was I succumbed to that pressure from all the adults around me to follow a path that was going to make lots of money, like doctor, lawyer, CPA, whatever. And I went to university and studied computer science. And I have to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with computer science. It is a wonderful profession, but it was not me.
Right.
And so it wasn't until much later in life where I decided to go back to university and study journalism. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have found my niche. I love, love, love journalism. And it's like you, I think about all those years that I wasted and all those tens of thousands of dollars that I wasted pursuing a path that did not make me happy. And so it's like, okay, now it's time to look inside my soul, see who I really am, who is my passion, and follow that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so thankful that you were one of the ones that found your true passion and love.
Oh, baby.
And now you can help these youngsters from your experience.
Absolutely. Put me on the radio and I'm a happy camper, grinning from ear to ear.
That's great.
But it's the same way with you and your music.
Yeah.
And don't you love... Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, don't you love doing business with somebody who is really passionate about what they do? You know, I don't care if it's the person who is selling me a camera or picking up my trash bin on Mondays or whatever it happens to be. If they love what they do and they're really happy doing it, that's the person I love to do business with.
Yes. Yes. Amen. That's so true. Yes.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. No problem.
What a fun person to get to know. I have loved our interview.
Yes, me too. Y'all are wonderful. Much success to you.
Well, thank you. And to you as well. And we're going to do everything we can to help you there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. And Sydney, I thank her too. She's great. Y'all are in good company.
Yeah, she's terrific. Sydney's awesome. You've been listening to Rock the System on Our City Radio. Tune in next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time for more fun on Rock the System.
You're listening to RCityRadio.com, the rock channel.